Good afternoon, everyone. I apologize for the length between video updates. I know a lot of this stuff has kind of trickled in over the last few months, and so I've kind of utilized the union meeting to kind of give updates on certain things such as extensions, grievances, and all that other stuff. But this definitely justifies a video update to all of you guys because it's the magnitude of just the information. And I just want to start out with the bad news first. And as tough as it is to say and as hard as I lobbied, it's safe to say that there will be no extension on the unemployment benefits that you have. And I'm speaking mostly to all of 650 USW members that got laid off last spring. We secured that extension preemptively. We kind of knew that this layoff was going to be lengthy, and we were able to secure that additional 6 months on top last spring. And as the winter progressed, we kind of knew that this potentially might last longer than what the extension is covering when it comes to wages and holding people together. And so over the last few months, I've been talking to legislators, talking to stakeholders, lobbying extensively. I do know that President Johnson has done that as well. And on the outset, it looked like there was going to be a chance at people kind of understanding the situation up here and being able to kind of understand that this layoff is unique. Every layoff is different, and so this one is no different than the uniqueness of every layoff that we've experienced in this area since 1980s. And initially, it looked promising and hopeful. And I know a lot of times it's hopeful going into this session that things can get accomplished, that things can get done. And then when stuff happens, it complicates it. And this has been no different. As you guys are probably well aware, the state of Minnesota is kind of a mess. Whether the fraud, the budget news, just the stuff that has happened down in the cities, and just the federal kind of tiff between the state of Minnesota, the governor, and the president. There's been kind of a lot going on there. And so with every single thing that has happened, it just made getting an extension on what we have or any sort of aid package that much more difficult. I sat down and had hours-long conversation with representatives trying to explain that we're in a unique scenario with Mesabi Metallics, potentially coming online here, at least accepting union labor around June. And some of these other projects like New Range being a couple, a year or so away and whatnot, that there are positions that are going to be opening up here shortly, regardless of a callback to Hibbing or Minorca, and that we would need a little bit extra runway on people that are going back to school and people that are kind of waiting this layoff out. And despite the best efforts between me and between Arbo and everyone else that has lobbied and tried, it's come to a head and we passed the committee deadlines and there won't be an extension for all of us. I'm trying to kind of give you guys all the outside baseball. As you probably saw, there was an article that me and President Larson talked to Lee Bloomquist on about a potential IRRR miners retention, a retraining fund. It's kind of in its inception phase, realizing that there is no trade assistance adjustment, which is a federal program for when you lose your job to trade. And so I'll just touch on that too. I tried and have lobbied extensively to try get that refunded, talking to our legislators, Representative Stauber's team, Senator Klobuchar's team, Tina Smith's team, talking to them about the situation, realizing that the past layoffs that we've had, the most recent ones that have extended longer than 12 months, there was those supporting programs for the most part, supporting a lot of those. And inside those programs, there's wage credits, there's retraining credits, and all this other stuff. And so that is what carried a lot of these members through those different layoffs, like at KeyTac or at UTAC and at North Shore. There's these federal programs that were there to help. We don't have that luxury. And as everyone was told too, there was accepting no applications. I don't believe it's been funded potentially since 2022 or something like that. And as you could see, the answers that I got from those people was that the federal legislature is a mess. there won't be any TAA funding on either side for the foreseeable future. The best news I got was from Senator Spitz's campaign, thinking we could piggyback that on something in December. So I tried to lobby through the state side to get a one-time non-precedent setting package here to help people that are still getting jobs slowly at whether it's U.S. Steel, taking transfers or getting retrained and whatnot, or the federal program to get funded. And it just wasn't going to happen, and it didn't happen. There wasn't a bill that was put in for us, and so it's safe to say that there is not going to be an extension happening, and there's potentially in this legislative session down in the cities, there might not be very much passed, as you guys can see through the gun stuff, through the ICE stuff, through the fraud, through the budgets and all this other stuff. It's just, it was just kind of the perfect storm of events too for us in the situation that we're in. All the schools are losing funding, the counties, everyone's just struggling to get funding, and here we are trying to get some sort of aid package for us up here that are still displaced. And like I'd said before, I don't know if I said a video update or not, I think around 188 of us from Menorca are still on unemployment. I believe around 200 or so are still on unemployment from the HIBTAC displacement. And so there's around 400 people that still haven't been able to find a job yet that's the same or similar, and we're still needing either another lifeline to kind of extend it so that we could stay up here and continue trying to get jobs at U.S. Steel or take transfers and whatnot. And so all that to say, guys, that the cavalry isn't coming, for lack of a better term. There's not going to be an extension, and so what you have left in your benefit account is what you have left. And for those of us within the steel contract, if you were under 10 years of service for when the day that you got laid off, your sub pay is going to drop off too. So that $250 a week that's in tandem is going to drop off for you. And there's, I think, around 111 of us that would fall into that category. And so I just want to make that very clear that there's still the 18 months of insurance, but the financial wage credit sub, all that other stuff is going to end at the end of May for most of us. And so I hate this. I hated to do this and kind of came to terms with this the last couple of days. I've been dreading to do this video update, but it's something that I need to give to you guys because I promised it to you by the end of the month. I wanted us to know if we were still in the running for an extension or if we were dead in the water. And it is unfortunately the latter when it comes to an extension on what we already have. You can go in on your benefits account, your unemployment, and you can go to, I think, my profile, then weekly benefits. There's a couple of clicks that you can do, and you can see what the total amount in your fund is left. And then, based off of what your weekly benefit is, just kind of do the math on there, and then you can kind of calculate, okay, I got 10 weeks, so I got, 12 weeks, because some people with the vacation payout were able to extend that, their unemployment longer than others. But for most of you, if you didn't do anything, you didn't get any payout in December, it's going to end at end of May for all of you. I did do the calculation for sub pay for people that have 10 years of service but under 20. You are still entitled to 25% of your sub pay calculation for the next year. And so I divided it all out by labor grades. Just for most people are labor grade 3. So if you have 10 years of service but less than 20, you get 25% of your sub calculation according to that table in our BLA. A labor grade 3 is an estimated $343.20 a week. So then you do that by 2. It's going to be paid on a bi-weekly scale as it is right now. And so I have all the labor grades broken down for those of you that will get sub post the unemployment. I'll send this out as well so that people can have this sheet to kind of calculate what you have and then kind of plan accordingly. For people with 20 years of service, which I estimate around 35 people that are still active, you get 40% of your pay for the next year. And so I think about 146 of our members are within the 10 years but under 20. that will still be collecting this, and then around 35 or so. These are rough estimates because not everyone informs me when they're moving on and whatnot. But for those, I believe it's 10 years and above, have the 30 months of insurance. So that's a huge deal for everybody. So those will continue on as well. So I just wanted to get all of this stuff out here. This is the bad news. I will be working with the Laurentian Chamber of Commerce, which I have for the last month as kind of a safety measure. There's a job fair April 23rd next month. Well, depending when you're watching this month. So April 23rd, there's going to be a job fair at the ITMAC, and U.S. Steel is going to be there. Cirrus is going to be there. A lot of the trades are going to be there. A lot of employers are going to be there that pay a decent wage. And I encourage all of you guys to go there, because with this bad news of not getting this extension, there's also the union's pretty well aware that we aren't expecting a call back to Menorca before your unemployment runs out. And so I would just encourage all of you guys to plan for the next year, plan your life around the long term. And we don't know when this is, how long this is going to be, but I don't want to see people, trying to make ends meet and struggle any harder than they have to, considering the circumstances. And so I would just encourage all of you guys to plan for the long term for decisions. I still want to preface this, and I'll touch on Menorca's future, the union, and some important update on that here shortly. But the company hasn't informed us as to anything other than that they are committed to our future, that Menorca does have a future. We have all this years of permanent ore, and that we will be coming back. We just can't tell you when. And the company has not changed that message. Even with the expansion at North Shore and at Hibbing, they're saying that it's not enough pellets to justify bringing us back. And so they're still maintaining that same message that they don't know when it's going to be, but Menorca does have a future. And your callback rights will extend for, I believe, around 5 years, so they can't just all of a sudden not call all of us back. But there's a lot of important things along the way here that I will keep you guys informed of. We're going into bargaining. We were just in Pittsburgh preparing for that. And so this contract is going to be open this summer, and we're going to be bargaining on a national scale with this. And so there's a lot going on with the Stelco agreement, which is currently taking pellets from U.S. Steel, all this other stuff. So there's a lot to be factored into us returning. Cliffs is playing their cards very close to the vest. I was just speaking with the Dearborn president today. They just did their feasibility studies on their blast furnace, and thankfully it doesn't have any red flags for getting realigned and whatnot. And so, for just strictly pellet consumption, there's the ability to consume way more pellets than what Cliffs is able to produce, and that's good for us. I'm not saying that our fate is just tied to what Dearborn does or all this other stuff, because we believe our contract states otherwise, but just giving you guys what I'm able to see, because Cliffs isn't saying anything, so we're just kind of forced to communicate to ourselves. So sorry guys that I could not get a bill through. I'm sorry that I could not get unemployment extended for people, just to have that extra cushion as people are trying to, make ends meet and prepare for this layoff extending past a year, which is crazy. Like I said, I've been really dreading this over the last couple of days, but I owed it to you guys, whether good news or bad news. I want to keep you guys informed and let you know that I've fought as hard as I possibly could. I drove down to the St. Louis County days and had private meetings with legislators and made countless phone calls and emails and all this other stuff. And it was, I guess, all for naught, when it comes to getting an extension on what we have. And so now just transitioning into taking care of everybody through this process and through however long this layoff is going to extend, whether, supported by unemployment or subpay or not, taking care of all of our members, because one, that's my job. I took an oath to do that, and I will do that to the best of my ability for as long as I can. There still is a lot of other programs, like there's AEOA, there's the dislocated worker program. I'm talking to those people. So there's still other programs that are available to you that you were displaced or running out of unemployment, which triggers qualifications. And so there's a lot of these other programs that I would encourage you, if you haven't talked to a dislocated worker yet, I would encourage you to do so, and get involved in that, because there's some funds to help with retraining. There's some funds to help with other expenses in that. And so I would encourage all of you guys to see a dislocated worker counselor, go through your situation, because there is rights to being able to do financial planning, help you with trying to get a resume and all this other stuff. So all this different stuff, just encouraging you guys to talk to these people, and I'll try provide as many updates as I can with job opportunities, as well as, Menorca's status throughout the way. I know that there's pipe fitters are looking for people that can weld. There's some of the other trades that are looking at needing people, and I have some numbers and contact information for some of these people if you want to contact them. And just, in the meantime, I'm going to work for KGM and make a lot of money, save it up, and, just continue to make ends meet as we're waiting for Menorca to call us back. I have a lot of that. I'm also keeping track on Masabi Metallics. They had good news today, and from what they're telling everyone else, that there's, around late spring, early summer, potentially taking operators to help stripping and some other things. And so that's our jobs. That's us. And so while there's a lot of tradespeople up there putting the place together, hopefully we're meeting these timelines, and there's some more job opportunities that are going to be good, high paying jobs for people that could help sustain and an opportunity for people to work there while, we're waiting for a Menorca callback. I know this is going to land different for a lot of people. It is frustrating, to say the least, to still be a year since we made a pellet and feel like we're not any closer to being restarted or not. And I know it's probably the same for all of you. I have news for you guys that was announced at the last meeting as well, and there was a lot of discussion on how do we bring this out, how do we say this, but I think it's important for our local to understand that we are fighting for you. And I mean our entire local and our entire leadership, not even just me, but leadership from the past as well, and leadership from the steel mills that we have built relationships. I'm talking about Menorca, Local 6115, has built for years and years and years. And just so all of you know, I'm sure it's been out there, but just to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, the union was made aware that our pellets were completely exhausted at the end of February. And with the lack of information from Cleveland Cliffs, and with everything that's going on, and with what our contract clearly states, we believed it's a violation of our BLA. And we filed potentially the biggest grievance in the history of our contract. And we've already went through the step 2 process, and we're working our way through that step process, working with our past leadership, with the steel mills, with people in Pittsburgh, and everyone on this grievance, because it is so sizable that it's going to affect everybody. And we believe that there's a violation. We believe that our pellets must come first. This is something that I was told. This is something that I could easily see in black and white. And this is something that all of us have kind of relied on. This is the strength of our contract, we're the only mine, and we're with Big Brother 1010 and the other steel mills. And I will just tell you this, I was just in Pittsburgh for the Basic Steel Conference. I was able to talk to some of our brothers and sisters from those steel mills, and those guys have our backs like we've been told for years and years and years. They are very much so militant, they're very, very, very much so strong, and they're very much so supportive of us, as we've had not only historical connections to from past ownership and all this other stuff, but just bargaining and building relationship with those people for years and years and years. It's something that was told to me. It was something that, we kind of witnessed and was told to us through different and past leadership. And it's been something to be told that, but then also to witness that. And to see that in real time, and especially with the support of these people, with a grievance this size, discovering that our pellets are being replaced right now, and it's, in our opinion, a violation of our contract that states that we must come first. It's right in there. And I'll wanted to let you guys know that we did file that. We announced it at the union meeting, kind of told it to everybody, but I wanted to tell you guys this just because you had to listen to 10 minutes or so of bad news, no unemployment extension, and etc. But there is still hope for Menorca. And not only is the company is aware that our facility is profitable, it's got all this, mine life left, and a workforce that's dedicated and loves the facility, and a strong contract. Those are positive things that even the company can't deny. But also, I want you to know that the union isn't just going to sit here and let this layoff continue on and let them violate our contract and continue to keep us down and treat us as if we're just another mine, because we're not. We are in steel, and our grievance and our contract is going to be completely tested through this process. And I will say this, that just for all of you, that your union is fighting extremely hard on this, and with the support from a very important people, and with just the effort that's being put in. I know you guys just see a lot of bad news a lot, but I will say this, that just this grievance, the support, the fighting behind it, and the strength of our steel contract is incredible, and I believe in it. And it's going to be put to the test in this process, and we'll see what the outcome is going to be. But I just want you to know that our pellets come first. We discovered this, and now we are acting. I just want to preface this, that even if we go to arbitration, we go through step 3, all this other stuff, there could be some time involved in this. And so I don't want you all to plan on this outcome of getting the call back, because our contract is that strong, and the company is just going to say it. They've already tried to do a lot of different things to derail this, to distract from it, and do anything but contend with the language that protects us. And we're working our way through that. That process is working its way out. We're going to fight this to the very end, because this is everything. This is why we have stayed in steel for years and years and years, and have fought for this contract language to be in there, because that is our biggest protection. We are the smallest mine, but we're in the biggest contract, and there's a reason for that. And I just want you guys just to know that that's fights going on. So we not only do we have things to look forward to, of eventually the company is going to have to bring us back, whether they like it or not, just based off of just the math of pellet consumption and whatnot. But also, we have a contract that has language that states that we must be utilized at full capacity. We must be on a maintenance outage, all this other stuff that has been used in the past, and that has kept us strong. And upon discovering that our pellets were gone, and there's no intention of putting us on a maintenance idle or calling us back, that is a major violation of our contract. And so that has been filed. It is working its way through the process, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody about this grievance. I won't say too much on it, go through verbatim what's being said and whatnot, but I just wanted you all to know that your local is still fighting for you. Regardless of whether you see it all the time, I know we got to see it through committees and stuff through the day-to-day workings at our facility when it comes to defending people's rights and protecting and upholding our oath of office. But I just assure you that this fight is happening, and everyone is up for the moment and is up for the task, because we do realize that our entire bargaining unit, all of you, your families, your children, this entire area is dependent on us fighting this fight and seeing this through to whatever outcome. And Well, arbitration, if this goes to that, which it potentially will, is 50-50 at best. I do believe in our contract. I believe in our arguments, and I believe that even an independent person can look at our contract, look at the strength of our contract and say, yes, you guys are right. This interpretation is right. And it's not something out of the ordinary either, because March 4th of this year or thereabouts, there was an arbitration ruling in favor of the union that ruled that CN in Canada had shut down a facility improperly, that they basically tore the facility down and were forced to provide a plan to call people back to production, all this other stuff. It literally just happened where an arbitrator ruled that the contract was violated, that they did not have the ability to do that and needed to call people back and start production back at that facility. This just happened in Canada. So I wanted to give you that, as well as to that, just because this grievance is probably historically the biggest that has ever been filed with our local. It's not out of the ordinary for a decision to be made in our favor. It's also not out of the ordinary decision to be made in the company's favor. But arbitrators look at our language, and they're supposed to listen to the arguments and be able to render an independent ruling based off of the language itself, not on the size. And so, our well, like just the posters behind me, steel strong and all this other stuff. We have been in steel for a reason, and I do believe in the strength of this language that we've cited. And I am hopeful for the outcome to be swift so that we can deliver for all of you in a timely manner so that people don't have to uproot their lives and whatnot. But I want to stress, I don't want you guys to plan around that, because even with this, there are some arbitrators that have taken long periods of times to take their time to go through all the evidence and then render a ruling. For example, some of them are very timely and some can take time. And so this is a sizable one. I'm sure it's going to be looked at through that scrutiny. Should we go that route and have to go to arbitration? But I just wanted to leave you guys with that, because like I said, I'm sure everyone's going to have to start doing and having those hard conversations about what are we going to do when unemployment runs out, when subpay runs out, etc. I just wanted you to know that while you guys are doing that Menorca has a future. Not only does it have a future, but your local is fighting to uphold the contract and hold and test the strength of our steel contract through the process here to try to rectify this wrong. And so please reach out to me. Please talk to each other. Please, it's scary. It's heavy, just the whole situation, being laid off for this long, not having a job with the uncertainty. I get it. And I want you all to take care of yourselves, but also realize that when you're taking care of your family, there is no wrong decision. You take care of your family, you do what's necessary for them, and that is all that you can do in a situation like this. And my job is to help protect you, assist you, and fight for you along this process, however long this layoff may be. So we're going to see this through to whatever end, the layoff, the grievance, the unemployment, all of this. We will get through this. Menorca will get through this. USW 6115 will get through this. As we've been through the fire before in the 80s, it is just unfortunately our moment to go through the fire now. But as long as we stand strong together, we have each other's backs and we take care of each other, as a lot of you are doing that are taking transfers, driving, carpooling, that's what's going to carry us through this. And I believe that we will get through this. And like I always say, I just cannot wait for that day to be bringing the call to all of you guys to come back, and hopefully sooner rather than later. But please take care and reach out if you have any other questions. I just saw this is 29 minutes, so if you got this far, kudos to you. I appreciate all of you, and I'll be here for you guys no matter what. I can schedule times to meet, all of that stuff, as I realize that a lot of things are going to be happening in the next couple of months. So take care of each other, and we'll see you soon.